Learning, Bottlenecks and Infinity, a working model of the evolution of syntactic communication. Simon Kirby. Abstract. Human language is unique in having a learned, arbitrary mapping between meanings and signals that is compositional and recursive. This paper presents a new approach to understanding its origins and evolution. Rather than turning to natural selection for an explanation, it is argued that general properties of the transmission of learned behavior are sufficient to explain the particular properties of language. A computational model of linguistic transmission is described in which complex structured languages spontaneously emerge in populations of learners, even though the populations have no language initially, and are not subject to any equivalent of biological change. These results are claimed to be general and are explained in terms of properties of mappings. Essentially, as mappings are passed down through generations of imitators, syntactic ones are intrinsically better at surviving through the learning bottleneck. Simon M. Kirby is a distinguished British cognitive scientist and chair of language evolution at the University of Edinburgh. He is known for his work on the evolution of human language, utilizing evolutionary computational models and experimental techniques to study the interplay of individual cognition, cultural transmission, and biological evolution. Additionally, Kirby is recognized for his artistic contributions, notably co-creating Subraphon, an autonomous emotional robot band that won a BAFTA award in 2009 and is now part of the National Museum of Scotland's collection. Simon M. Kirby was born in Hastings, Sussex, in 1964. He attended Chantry Infants School, Sandown Primary School, and Hastings Grammar School. He obtained a BSc Hons degree in mathematical modeling from the Open University and furthered his studies in operational research at the London School of Economics. Kirby, S. 1994. Adaptive Explanations for Language Universals, a Model of Hawkins Performance Theory. Sprachtypologie und universale Einführung, 47:186-210. In this article, Simon Kirby explores how features common across many languages, known as language universals, can be explained through adaptive processes. He specifically develops a model based on Hawkins' performance theory, which suggests that the structures of languages are shaped by the cognitive demands placed on language users during processes like understanding and producing speech. This work proposes that the efficiency of language processing influences how linguistic patterns emerge and are maintained. Kirby, S., and Herford, J. 1995. Neural Preconditions for Proto-Language. Behavioral and Brain Sciences, 181193-194, collaborating with James Herford, Simon Kirby investigates the neurological prerequisites that would have been necessary for the development of proto-language. Proto-language is considered a simpler, evolutionary precursor to the fully complex human language we use today. This paper delves into the biological and cognitive foundations that would have needed to be in place in the brain for such an early form of communication to emerge. Herford, J. Joseph, S. Kirby, S., and Reed, A. 1997. Evolution Might Select Constructivism. Behavioral and Brain Sciences, 20:567-568. In this co-authored piece, Kirby and his colleagues propose that evolutionary processes could potentially favor constructivism in learning and development. This suggests that the way individuals build their knowledge and understanding through interaction with their environment, rather than solely relying on innate blueprints, could have been a beneficial trait selected for during evolution, particularly in the context of language acquisition. Kirby, S. 1997. Competing Motivations and Emergence, Explaining Implicational Hierarchies. Language Typology, 11532. In this article, Simon Kirby examines implicational hierarchies, which describe systematic relationships between linguistic features, e.g., if a language has feature A, it will also have feature B. He argues that these hierarchies can be explained by the interplay of competing motivations, different pressures or biases influencing how language develops and is used, and the concept of emergence, where complex patterns arise from simpler interactions over time. Kirby, S. 1998. Motivations concurrence et emergence cum explications to hierarchies implicationales. Verbum, XX 3309-336. This publication is presented as a French version or a closely related work to his 1997 paper on competing motivations and implicational hierarchies. Published in the journal Verbum, it likely elaborates on the same theoretical framework, explaining how various pressures on language and the principle of emergence contribute to the observable systematic relationships between linguistic features across different languages. Kirby, S. 1999. Function, Selection, and Innateness, The Emergence of Language Universals. Oxford University Press. This is a seminal book by Simon Kirby that offers a comprehensive argument for the origins of language universals. He posits that these shared properties among diverse languages result from a complex interaction between the communicative function of language, what it's used for, selection pressures, evolutionary advantages, and aspects of innateness, biological predispositions for language. The book is recognized for significantly advancing the field of language evolution by integrating these different explanatory levels and often using computational modeling to explore these interactions. Kirby, S. 2000. The Role of I-Language in Diachronic Adaptation, Zeitschrift für Sprachwissenschaft, 1802. In this article, Simon Kirby delves into the concept of I-language, which refers to the internal, individual language capacity or the internalized system of rules that a speaker possesses. He explores how this individual linguistic competence plays a crucial role in the diachronic adaptation of language systems, meaning how languages change and adapt over historical time. Kirby, S. 2001. Spontaneous Evolution of Linguistic Structure, an Iterated Learning Model of the Emergence of Regularity and Irregularity. IEEE Transactions on Evolutionary Computation, 52102-110. This paper introduces and elaborates on the iterated learning model, a significant methodological contribution to Kirby's research. This model demonstrates how linguistic structure, including both regular and irregular patterns found in language, can spontaneously emerge. This occurs through a process of repeated learning and transmission, where one generation of learners acquires a language based on the output of the previous generation, and then their output becomes the input for the next, leading to the evolution of linguistic features over time. Todd, P., and Kirby, S. 2001. I Like What I Know, How Recognition-Based Decisions Can Structure the Environment. In Kellerman, J., and Sosik, P. Editors, Advances in Artificial Life. Springer. Co-authored with Peter Todd, this contribution to an artificial life volume explores how decisions made based on recognition can actively influence and shape an environment. The paper examines the principle I like what I know and how this cognitive bias, where familiar things are preferred, can lead to the structuring of an environment. This concept is potentially relevant to understanding how cognitive biases in humans might affect the learning and evolution of language. Kirby, S. 2002. Natural Language from Artificial Life. Artificial Life, 82185-215. In this publication, Simon Kirby discusses the application of principles and methods from artificial life A-life research to the study of language. He argues that A-life techniques, which involve creating computational models of living systems, offer a fertile ground for understanding the emergence and evolution of natural human language. This approach views language itself as a complex adaptive system, where its structure is determined by the interaction of learning, culture, and biological evolution. Wheeler, M. Bullock, S. Paulo, E. A. D. Noble, J. Badaw, M. Husbands, P. Kirby, S. and Seth, A. 2002. The View from Elsewhere, Perspectives on ALIF Modeling. Artificial Life, 8197-100. As part of a broader discussion on artificial life ALIF modeling, Simon Kirby contributes to this collection of perspectives. The paper presents various viewpoints on how ALIF techniques can be used to understand complex adaptive systems. Kirby's involvement here highlights his commitment to interdisciplinary approaches and the use of computational modeling to explore fundamental questions in the study of complex phenomena, including language. Christensen, M., and Kirby, S. 2003. Language Evolution. Oxford University Press. This influential book, co-edited by Morton H. Christensen and Simon Kirby, serves as a landmark publication in the rapidly growing field of language evolution. It gathers contributions from leading scholars across various disciplines, including linguistics, cognitive science, and computational science. The book provides a comprehensive overview of theories and research on how language emerged and developed, making it a key resource for understanding the origins of human language. Christensen, M. H. and Kirby, S. 2003. Language Evolution, Consensus and Controversies. Trends in Cognitive Sciences, 77300-307. In this article, Simon Kirby, along with Morton H. Christensen, reviews the state of the art in language evolution research. They discuss the areas where there is emerging consensus among researchers regarding the origins and development of language, as well as highlighting the ongoing debates and controversies within this interdisciplinary field. The paper provides a valuable snapshot of the key agreements and disagreements shaping the study of language evolution at that time. Miranda, E. R. Kirby, S., and Todd, P. M. 2003. On Computational Models of the Evolution of Music, From the Origins of Musical Taste to the Emergence of Grammars. Contemporary Music Review, 22-391-111. Expanding his application of computational models beyond spoken language, Simon Kirby co-authored this paper which explores the evolution of music. The article investigates how computational simulations can be used to understand various aspects of musical evolution, ranging from the development of shared musical tastes within a population to the emergence of underlying musical grammars or structures that govern how music is composed and perceived. Smith, K. Brighton, H., and Kirby, S. 2003. Complex Systems in Language Evolution, The Cultural Emergence of Compositional Structure. Advances in Complex Systems, 64537-558. This collaborative work focuses on how compositional structure, the ability to combine smaller meaningful units like words to create larger, complex meanings like sentences, emerges in language through cultural processes. The authors frame language as a complex adaptive system and use this perspective to explain how this fundamental structural property of language can arise through interactions within a linguistic community rather than solely from innate biological predispositions. Smith, K. Kirby, S., and Brighton, H. 2003. Iterated Learning, A Framework for the Emergence of Language. Artificial Life, 94371-386. This paper further elaborates on the iterated learning framework, positioning it as a robust and essential methodology for investigating the emergence of language. It demonstrates how this process, where language is repeatedly learned and reproduced across generations, can drive the cultural evolution of linguistic structure. The authors highlight its utility in modeling how language adapts to the cognitive biases of learners and how structured communication systems can arise without explicit design. 2004 Kirby, S. 2004. Bias, Innateness, and Domain Specificity. Journal of Child Language, 31:927-930. In this article, Kirby addresses the roles of cognitive biases, innate predispositions, and domain specificity, whether language learning relies on dedicated cognitive modules in language acquisition and evolution. Kirby, S. Smith, K., and Brighton, H. 2004. From UG to Universals, Linguistic Adaptation Through Iterated Learning. Studies in Language, 283587-607. This paper connects the concept of universal grammar UG to language universals, arguing that iterated learning can explain how linguistic adaptations lead to widespread commonalities across languages, even without strong innate biases. 2005 Brighton, H. Smith, K., and Kirby, S. 2005. Language as Evolutionary System. Physics of Life Reviews, 2:177-226. This review article presents language as a complex evolutionary system, drawing parallels with biological evolution and emphasizing the interplay of individual learning and cultural transmission. 2006 Brighton, H., and Kirby, S. 2006. Understanding Linguistic Evolution by Visualizing the Emergence of Topographic Mappings. Artificial Life, 12/2/229-242. This paper explores how visualizing the emergence of topographic mappings where similar concepts are represented by similar linguistic forms can aid in understanding the evolution of linguistic structure. 2007 Kirby, S. Dowman, M., and Griffiths, T. 2007 Innateness and Culture in the Evolution of Language. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, 104 125241-5245. This significant paper investigates the complex interaction between innate predispositions and cultural learning in shaping the evolutionary trajectory of language, often a central theme in Kirby's work. References. Cibraphon. Archived from the original on July 4, 2013. Retrieved November 19, 2009. Found win BAFTA for Cibraphon. November 9, 2009. Retrieved November 19, 2009.